It is entirely up to you, the outcome of this workout. If you want something, you gotta go get it.
Does it feel like a climb? Oh yeah, then you got it right.
All right, team. Do you feel it? If you don't feel it, with all due respect, fix it. Fix it. Have you ever wondered how strong you really are? Here's your chance to figure that out.
What would it sound like if you recorded yourself teaching a workout and listened to the audio only? What would you hear? Inspiring coaching? Or might you just hear the cliched language of habitual coaching? We all want to be inspiring, but it can be easy to get into a coaching rut. That is, to get comfortable saying pretty much the same things from workout to workout. How we sound when teaching can be as powerful as how we look when moving. It isn't just whether we cue in time, get the name of the move correct, or whether our participants know what is right and wrong. It isn't just a thoughtless ticking of boxes. It's more than that. Great coaching can be compelling, connect you to your participants, bring each program brand into high definition, and importantly, improve our participants' perceived and real experiences. Great coaching is great communication. Great communication requires us to be conscientious, and being conscientious means always being a student and continuing to look for ways to improve. That's exactly what advanced coaching is about. This teaching target is designed to be very practical. We've put out this education before, and it's been one of the most valuable resources for instructor teams. Even if you've watched this video before, I promise that revisiting advanced coaching will take your teaching to the next level. There are 5 lessons, and each lesson has a homework assignment. Yes, I said homework. Taking your coaching to the next level will require some effort, but the payoff will be well worth it. Don't worry, the lessons are very manageable. You can do 1 lesson each week or sit down and tackle all of them in a weekend. If you remain committed to this project, I can promise that you will see and hear improvement in your coaching, and your participants will have a much more inspiring experience. Let's start with one simple word, why. Why do people exercise? Most of us usually think of the words motivated and inspired as interchangeable, having the same meaning. What is interesting is that when you analyse how and when we actually use each of these 2 words, we more often than not pick the word motivate when we have to push ourselves to do something that we don't like to do, such as find your motivation or stay motivated. However, the word inspired has the ring of something much more positive. So-and-so inspired me to, or I felt totally inspired. I have even heard that motivation is like the push or the willpower to overcome, and inspiration is like the pull or the internal desire to accomplish something. Let's summarize by saying that inspiring self-motivation is like helping our participants find a greater purpose and push in doing something that they might not always love to do or might not otherwise really care about.
I want to see all-out effort, gang, whatever your choice is. Do you want more fight in this thing? You can always add a little bit more fight. This is where the work's at, right? Woo! This is where we push.
What do you hear? Woo! 10 seconds. Outdo yourself. Come on.
So why do we need to inspire self-motivation? Because that's what gets people moving and keeps them moving. Research shows that people who are self-motivated to exercise have significantly higher rates of adherence to fitness programs. If we're going to inspire self-motivation, then we need a whole variety of strategies because, let's face it, there is a wide variety of reasons that people want to exercise. Exercise motivation can be loosely broken down into 2 categories, short or immediate term and then medium to long term, keeping in mind that there is not a distinct line between these 2. Short or immediate term would be anything to do with how they feel as soon as they're finished. Right now, this second during the workout, or shortly after the workout is over. For example, you might say, "Come on everybody, when you get through these last 8 reps, I want you to be satisfied that you've done your absolute best." Or, "Really push for this final 45 seconds, you'll feel better as soon as you're finished."
Give us everything you have left. We'll squeeze you tight.
Guess what you've got to do in endurance? You've got to find your fire. Win! You're on fire. Come on!
Medium to long term could be things like being a better mother or living a longer, healthier life.
Day-to-day life, guys. This is what we're practicing for. You might not love getting to the ground, but you have to admit, you have to sometimes, so you might as well get good at it, right?
This movement will make your golf swing, your pitching baseball skills even better.
So we find our ankle to knee pose, where we feel this awesome stretch in our hip, encouraging our range of motion and mobility to increase.
How about this kind of progressive training? It's also going to help you grow younger.
This is one of those beautiful postural moves. It's going to keep you youthful, tall, and feeling great.
There's a long list of reasons why people exercise. Because it feels good when they exercise. Maybe they enjoy the endorphin rush, or because they physically feel better after they exercise, or to relieve stress or improve their mood, to be fitter, to be healthier, to be stronger, to build muscle, to lose weight. Because exercise makes them better at other activities like sports or playing with their kids. Because to some people, exercise is fun. Maybe for social purposes, to sleep better at night, to have more energy during the day, or for the sense of accomplishment that comes with completing a challenging workout. Now, this is just a sample list, and every single participant could have a different reason for exercising. There are so many reasons why we would exercise, both physically and emotionally. Our job as instructors is to find ways to inspire groups of people who are motivated in various ways. The question is, are you good at appealing to those whys in order to inspire self-motivation? Do you have enough variety? Are you tapping into as many positive reasons as you can? Here's your first homework assignment. Sit down with your current quarterly release program notes and identify 4 really tough moments in the workout where your participants might need an extra push to keep going. Script cues that will help inspire them to motivate themselves. Be sure to use a variety of cues for short-term and long-term motivation. The most successful cues will be wide-ranging, inspiring a broad audience of participants to motivate themselves in many different ways. Have you ever heard a group fitness instructor who sounds pretty much the same in every workout they teach, even when the programming is different from release to release? There are certain core movements and speeds in every program, so it's easy to fall into the habit of using the same phrases in every workout experience. We all need to ask ourselves, what does my coaching sound like to a new participant? Do my words and phrases make sense to someone who has never experienced this program? Would what I'm saying make sense outside of the context of this workout? Does my coaching have an athletic sound to it? If you answer no to any of these questions, it might be because you're using too much program jargon. Jargon is defined as special words or expressions that are used by a particular profession or group and are difficult for others to understand. Jargon is a lot like slang because it is commonly understood within a group of people but doesn't make sense to people outside that group. Almost by definition, jargon is a barrier to communication with anyone outside a group or joining a group for the first time. A prime example in our group power world might be 2-2 take a seat, which is using jargon to say do a medium-paced squat. Now don't get me wrong, literal cues and non-technical language are very important parts of coaching. The problem is words or phrases that are not really all that descriptive. After all, a new participant in group power might be puzzled by an instructor asking them to take a seat while they've got a barbell on their back. Besides, unlike deadlift or reverse fly, a squat is one of those unique exercises where the name says exactly what you're doing. So why not say squat and then later explain that the movement is kind of like you're sitting down in a chair? In every program, you can find those go-to phrases that only make sense if you participate in the workout regularly. That's jargon. Can you hear the jargon in this short clip?
Inhale, extended mountain pose. Exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, right lunge. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, find sun warrior. Exhale to extended angle.
One more power clean. Trade it in for a 2-2 deadlift. Upright row 3 times. Just a power clean. Now overhead press for 3. We're going to start in set position. You have a 4-4 dead squat. Dynamic crouch, reverse fly. 1-1 dead fly.
Do you understand how someone outside the group might have a hard time understanding what we're talking about? How could some of these words and phrases be replaced to sound more like athletic training? What types of fitness language would help make this coaching more consistent with the program's brand identity?
Imagine you got a heavy bucket in your arms and you're trying to throw it overhead. Outside the octagon, sledgehammer, smooth, power.
So think ladder drills. In, out, in, out.
Shift, reset. So your core is decelerating that movement.
It's time for your second homework assignment. Dust off your video camera and record yourself teaching a live workout. Now play back the video, but don't watch it, just listen. Write down words that would qualify as program jargon and keep your ears open for go-to phrases that may be overused in your coaching. Now, script a different way of cueing that is easy to understand and has an athletic sound to it. When you launch the current quarterly release, try coaching without any of your go-to program jargon and instead use the new cues you've written. Your coaching will begin to have a more athletic, accessible sound to it, improving the auditory experience for all participants. When you're developing descriptive cues to explain movement, you can make your participants more successful by using both internal and external cues. Internal cues explain how to execute a movement by referring to the body or part of the body. Internal cues can be simple, like flex your elbows, or more complicated, like extend at your hips and squeeze your gluteals.
I want you to think of the breastbone coming away from the belly button.
Look at the hip action again. Extend, catch.
So I want you to concentrate on squeezing the glutes as you press the arms and the feet down.
The pros of internal cues that they offer a very precise scientific explanation of how the body is moving, and we often use the names of muscles or more technical sports science terminology, giving our language that athletic ring we talked about earlier. The cons are that this type of language could be lost on someone who does not know the terminology, or it might create a somewhat delayed reaction as a participant needs time to listen, process, and then respond to the cue. External cues explain how to execute a movement in relation to the external environment. For example, push your hips towards the back wall, press your hands into the floor, and jump up towards the ceiling.
On your inhale, rotate your chest towards the side of the room.
Peel your chest away from the floor. Let the hips float up.
Your front foot is sparked. You're going to shift to the back of the room, balance in the middle, step back.
The pros of this kind of language are that all of our participants are able to respond to such simple language, and there is an immediate brain-body connection. The cons, well, it might not have the ring of exercise science like an internal cue does, and coming up with new and different external cues requires thinking about what you are going to say in advance. Consider these standard internal cues. Saying flex your hips while coaching a reverse curl assumes knowledge of the word flex. We could say lift your knees up towards the ceiling. Telling people to extend at the knees during a squat assumes knowledge of the word extend. We could say stand as tall as you can. Squeeze your gluteals in a bridge assumes knowledge of the word gluteals. We could say push your hips towards the ceiling. The majority of research shows that external cues create a better physical outcome, especially for those participants who are less aware of their bodies, like people new to exercise or new to the specific skill of a program. Now, don't get me wrong, we're not saying to use one at the exclusion of another. We recommend that you balance internal and external cues so that we get the benefits of sounding like sports science while still ensuring that everyone executes as well as possible. Homework assignment number 3. It is to watch your video and write down your go-to internal cues. You know, the ones you use fairly often to describe how movement is executed. You may even find some of them on the list you made about jargon. Then rewrite each cue as an external cue. This way, you've got some pre-planned possibilities to balance out your internal and external cues. Every single move in every single MOSA program has a purpose. It is there for a reason. That reason might be as simple as creating a coaching break for you as the instructor, or it could be as sophisticated as offset loading for the triceps. And series of movements are strung together strategically and thoughtfully to create a specific physical and emotional response. In light of that information, think about this. You are response able for the response you get. We have all taught workouts where we might have imagined it going way better, or we thought we'd get a more positive response. So here's the question. Did you manage expectations? In other words, did you give participants enough information about their experience so that they understood how to experience it? Did you deliver movement objectives so that no one was left with that awkward feeling of, why am I doing this? Being response able means that we acknowledge our role as coaches in the experience of the participants. Teaching movement objectives means giving the why behind what we're asking participants to do. But sometimes we could sound very repetitive if every single time we stated a move, we explained why in the same way. What if we use different sentence structures to deliver the why of movement objectives? For example, try a declarative sentence to make a simple statement. Now it is time to recover. This gives the movement objective the why in one short, snappy statement. Or if we use an interrogative sentence which asks a question, we might say, who needs to pull back and recover? Then there's the imperative sentence structure, giving a command or making a request, which could go something like, make the most of this recovery section. And finally, we could use a personalized exclamatory sentence like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been hanging on for this recovery section. These different sentence structures enrich your coaching, making movement objectives sound multidimensional.
Who's working right now?
I'd like you to follow your fingers with your eye gaze. That actually helps us get a little bit deeper rotation.
Now look, it's just to anchor us right back home.
One more. Knees down, hips back, big stretch. Oh, I needed that.
Up for 4. Chillax. Last lap. Do you think we can wake the heart rate back up a little bit? Single knee. to see a little air under the toes.
So your fourth homework assignment is to check your video for why coaching. Then script 10 movement objectives using each of the different sentence structures at least one time: declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory. Vitals can potentially change the workout outcome for the better, or if they're missing, for the worse. In medicine, vitals are the essential information for the doctor to get an effective picture of overall health. For us as instructors, vitals are the crucial pieces of information that participants need to get the best out of their workout. Vitals can take several different forms, depending on the program, the workout, and the track. Here are some examples. Reps are simple and to the point. The number of repetitions to be completed. How many more bicep curls do we have? How many more times across the step? How many more squats? How many more of any movement or combo are we going to do before it's over? When the going gets tough, participants need to know how far they have to go.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
ETA stands for Estimated Time of Arrival. Participants might need to know how much longer until they arrive at the end or at a break. Most of the time, 32 counts of music equates to about 15 seconds. This is approximate. If you're in a final cardio peak or the tough section of a working track, ETAs will help participants hang on for a little bit longer. This is especially true in cardio tracks because how many more reps is not always as easy to grasp as how many seconds are left.
Can you push for 20 seconds? Yes?
30 seconds. Saddle up.
We're in the home stretch. You got under 30 seconds. Come on.
Listen to this. That means 10 seconds. I know you can at least do 10 more. 10-second burst of speed and power.
Make it sound reassuring by using words like only this long and under that amount of time. Just be careful not to give an ETA too early because 1 minute to go might sound like too much to new people, and there could be situations when 30 seconds sounds like too much to everyone. One more thing. In order to be effective, ETAs must be accurate, so it's best to plan ETAs ahead of time. Comparative intensity means how intense is this work compared to someone's own perception of normal, or how intense is this work compared to the work we've already done.
Way heavy. We're gonna get into the power in your legs. I want you to make this feel like you're pushing your car. That heavy. Make sense?
We did it in the warm-up. Let's make this one bigger.
How about a little bit more? These stairs are getting steeper. Do you feel your legs working? Starting to feel that spike. We're gonna level up a little bit, but then I want you to go like that again. Deal?
You can set someone up to conquer a challenge by letting them know this is going to stretch your personal limits, or you can restore someone's confidence by reassuring them this is supposed to be the hardest one you've done yet. Comparative intensity helps participants to understand the workout, but on their own terms, in relation to something they already understand. This can be exactly what you need to push them to do their best. Expected physical outcomes speak to the likely physical experience that participants may be having. Your legs should be burning. You're probably gasping for air. At this point, you'll find it hard to balance. This subtle form of advanced coaching can change a participant's experience from, I don't like that feeling, why do I get it, or why did I get it, into, yep, that's exactly it, and my core is going to look great.
Where's the burn? On the tricep.
How's your heart rate though? You should be having fun, but you should also be getting out of breath.
You know where I want you to feel it? Right there.
Expected emotional outcomes speak to participants' likely emotional experience. And what do we mean by emotional experience?
You're wondering why. Are we why? There's something else coming.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's gonna burn the calves.
It's okay to feel unstable here. We're doing this so we can get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
Who's thinking they might have taken too much? You did it right. Come on.
Does it feel a little weird, that move? It's the first time you've tried it, so it's okay if it feels weird.
For participants who don't have an innate love for all types of exercise, the more challenging parts of a workout might make them feel defeated, feel overwhelmed, or even just feel like quitting. And the hardest part is that some participants think they are the only ones who feel that way. We can assure these participants that this is where you might feel like giving up, or this is when your mind has to take over for your body. Your fifth and final homework assignment is to sit down with the program notes for your current quarterly release and find a place where participants may need a vital sign from the instructor. Decide which strategy would work best for each purpose and try to incorporate each of the vitals above. By this time, you should have a plethora of advanced coaching strategies. If you complete all of these assignments and start to integrate them into your teaching, I'm sure you will notice the difference in how your participants respond. Remember your why and use it to inspire and motivate the people at your facility. Let's move.